All right, everybody. Ahjnot here. All right. In case you're joining later, but a little bit later. Sorry about that. So here I am in the studio. Um, all right. So happy 100. I'm wondering if anybody's going to join me, but nobody's here at this moment. But I will bring it up. Happy 100 subscribers. I'd always said I was going to do this, and hmm, what to say? This is kind of off the charts here because I normally just set up everything as I go. But what can I say? Okay. 100 people are 100 subscribers. Nobody dropped before I decided to do this. and with nobody here, it's kind of weird for me to just welcome you. But I do welcome you if you click on this later and take a look. And I was hoping for some questions and answers, but if there's nobody here, how am I supposed to answer a question from you, right? Yeah, of course. Anyways. Huh. Anyways, what do I do? I hadn't done one of these since I finally announced that I was going on this channel that I was going to finally do this. So it's a little different from what one would expect. Well, let's see. I know I had over 70 subscribers to begin with. If anybody was ever a fan of him, that's kind of like how Rush Limbaugh got started with his radio program. He had like 53 affiliates willing to take him immediately. So, and just about every single one of my and I think we had someone. Thank you. Welcome, by the way. But anyways, so it was really hard for me to explain, and of course, nobody's not a person left. So of course, it's like, well, okay, what do? So I finally went ahead and did this. I like to explain, and if she ever clicks on this, April and Alter, thank you so much for giving me the inspiration, and I'd like to thank the many glitches when I tried to watch a WWE pay per view on my other channel, what I now just call my sister channel, JL and Rigo. The day that it was in Saudi Arabia, so I was up early to watch the show, and it was a combination of my cat being in one of those foul moods where he was like snapping at me, and I'm like, and if there's ever one reason I will hit that cat, it's that. And then second thing that went wrong was, of course, I was tired and I was starting to fall asleep, and it's like, okay, I am now going to be the most boring live streamer that ever existed, and this is probably no different. Uh, and then thirdly, I was having glitches where my live stream was not working. It was saying that something was wrong, and then enough time would go by, and finally it would just stop the live stream, and I had to start it again, and then it would stop again, and then when I started again, that's when I had the epiphany and said, I am tired. This isn't working out because I was begging for all of you who subscribed to this channel back then to move over to the other channel when I opened it up. And the reason I had opened that channel up was because I don't remember what it was. Was it because my old email address is still technically attached to this channel? But oh well. It just because it's there doesn't mean that I don't have to, that I can't just turn this channel into something. And then that was back in July. I think it was the 4th of July weekend when I was out in El Paso, Texas, or Las Cruces, New Mexico, to be exact. And I made the final decision that this was coming to life, and it did. So I am, 100 subscribers, I'm 20 episodes in. I have a 21st in the pipeline that's going to be dropping on Monday. And then I'm going to probably right after this, and I'll even leave this on for the short time so you can see me set up. But I think in the future, I'm gonna take a look at something I can do here. Hmm, that's not gonna work. Um, I may try. What I really would like to do is look a little, have my setup look a little more like other people's, where you're actually just in an office and you see things in the background, not just have this blue, this green background behind me. Plus, one of the other things I've been trying to figure out, and I got to get some things plugged in, is I have a. So I bought the microphone I'm using, but no matter what I do, it feels like when I try to talk, it's like it cuts off certain words. That's why I find myself doing like 6 or 7 different takes of me trying to get this right. That's why a lot of times it was all cut up, even if I memorize my script, you know, because it was like, okay, now it sounds like crap or I cut out. I mean, how many times have maybe you've heard what sounds like you know what my wording is, but it it just or something like that. It's just so dumb. And it drive me crazy. Remember on the Cats episode, that was the first time, if you've noticed, that halfway in between my closing, it was a different take. I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but of course I'm not looking right up at the camera. I'm like looking at myself in the screen. But anyways, it was a different take because I'm not making this up. I think I took 7 takes before I finally just gave up and stopped grabbing Rigo out of the out of the living room to play with him and go, "Oh, I'm sorry." So I just finally gave up and decided to try to cut it. I cut it right there and then just redid and did the rest of the transfer or the outro. Um, hmm. So and then there was a lot of things I started realizing as I was watching, because I'll be honest, every time the video drops, I go to my sister channel, which of course is a subscriber, because of course it would be, and I watch it there to give myself a view. 'Cause I think you can watch it all the times you want on your own channel. It's not going to affect your view. If it did, we'd all be monetized, wouldn't we? Well, we wouldn't be monetized because apparently the monetization, as I know, is 1,000 subscribers and at least one video hitting 4,000 views. Well, as I've said in the intro, in the description of this, I'm at the 1/10th point because I'm at 100 subscribers, and my most watched video is at 400 views. I do have that up here. Let me see here. Let's do a little refresh as I'm doing this. Yeah, at this time, it's the one where I compare I Love a March. It's got 482 views as of when I spoke on this live stream. I'm surprised that that was the one that did it. But I have some mixed up statistics here. It's like that's the most viewed. The one I have the most likes for is the one with Big Bird having a problem having his lunch. That has 7 likes. I don't have a lot of comments other than my own, like, mentions. The one that intrigued me the most is the waiter one where Grover throws a fit. The funny part of that one is the fact that is the fact that that was, I think, the only one that while I was watching it for the first time after it dropped, I was seeing the view counter go up as I was watching. So it was like, I think I got like the most views within the first, what do you call it, hour. I've had it where, of course, views would go, a video wouldn't take off until like, a couple hours later in views. That's kind of what happened with I Love a March. Hmm. I remember the Hats episode was the one that I think really like got a lot of views to begin with, and that's when I started picking up views. Let me look at this again here. You're not seeing this. I'm just scrolling on my own channel thing here. Yeah, the alphabet trip finally got to 100 views. But yeah, it was the hats episode that I don't recall how fast I got that, but it was funny to see that. But let's see where we are. Okay, so you know, episode episode 10, the TV versus audio, I love a march. That's got the most. The second most is the peanut butter and crayons one, or what's called a child sense of wonder peanut butter and crayons. That's got 352 views as I see it. Um, just scrolling up and down to see. All right, number three is Big Bird Can't Catch a Lunch Break. That's got 295 views. Don't Give Kermit Teeth, Grover. That's got 224 views. That's number four. And what's number five? And let's say number five is Waiter Grover Throws a Fit. So that's got the fifth most views at this time and the second most likes. And again, that was the one that took off the fastest when I actually took off the fastest when I actually got to you know, when I was watching it. So again, you've seen my room here. This is what I was working with for the first couple of episodes because that first episode, when they say you're going to look bad on your first episode, they mean it. It wasn't even really the first episode. It was the pilot episode where I explained my life. That's why I didn't realize that on these constant cuts that I was doing was was making me look. That's why the voice got offset and everything. I'm sorry that I'm looking at my phone, but sorry I'm looking at my phone. But at the time I'm talking, my Lions are playing, and they went to overtime. I'll just put that right there. I don't think we've gone overtime in a while. So if I look over and maybe I cheer, that's the reason. So I have to admit that the channel's not going where I was hoping it'd go immediately. I mean, maybe it will. Like they always say, there's patience because you're not going to be monetized. You're not going to get a lot of views to get started. Does tend to happen, but I don't know. But it's like I'm hardly getting any. The thing that's really kind of driving me crazy is I'm not getting anybody commenting really. I mean, one person that commented recently was an old high school buddy because I returned to Facebook. I don't have an Ahjnot page on Facebook as of yet. In fact, probably part of what got me in the ultimate trouble, per se, at the tail end of my original, the tail end of my original Facebook life was constantly trying to start a Facebook page. Now, maybe there's something I'm supposed to do that I have to check a look at if I was to actually have a page. Because I've seen people do that. A friend of mine, matter of fact, one of the friends that actually commented on a couple of my clips. But he had something about like horror movies and such that I was a part of that it didn't really take off, and he got rid of it. But I'd never seen how to do that. Oh, and I have new glasses, by the way. I had the plastic glasses, and I went back to wire because I was trying to get something more light. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, the the not so many comments because I mean, that was the reason I really wanted to start this channel was the comments. So I mean, I'm getting views. I mean, I'm getting a decent number of views for what I have. I mean, I keep saying I'm kind of at the 1/10th mark because, of course, I'm at 100 subscribers, which is the reason for this live stream. And also, I'm going to have separate, I'm going to number the live streams every time I have one, you know? And I have over 400 views on one video. So, like I said, literally that's the 1/10th mark, but I don't want to repeat myself. But I am getting the views. I got some other people to sign up. A couple of people on my team at my full-time job do this, watch this too. They may end up watching this later if they didn't have a chance to watch it now. Because I'm going to leave it up. It's not going to be like on my old channel when I started pulling all the live streams down because I had to just kind of pretend that whatever that was didn't exist, whether it be here or there. Um, I got other plans with this channel. I had one person. Well, I'll tell you about those in a minute. I had one person on X watch my videos and then say some things that I want some criticism, I want some encouragement, I want some advice about these things. I'm not going to sit here and go, no, well, nobody told me how to do this. I don't think anybody on YouTube has ever gone through that in their life. But I have a. I'm trying to figure out the microphone situation because those first episodes it was the microphone that's part of the computer here. The second time I got a microphone right here. It also doubles as a nightlight because it's got the changing color thing at the bottom. But a third thing I wanna do is I got an arm with a microphone that, uh, I may end up just doing it that way. However, my question would be, where could it sit near me and not be on the screen? I mean, it could be on the screen for when I create these. It's never mind, we just won the game. Oh my god, Jameer Gibbs. My god. Sorry, my brother. That was right, the second fastest overtime ever. For the Lions, at least. All right, we're done with that. I'll look into that stuff later. Detroit was doing really bad against the Giants. I call them the New York G-men. I just do. It's not an insult. I think a lot of Giants fans might call it that too. But anyways, the distraction's over. But anyways, so I was trying to get a microphone, but as I was trying to say, of course, the screen's about as wide as you see it right now. When I do the probably about as wide as it was when I did the first couple episodes before I finally trimmed it down, which means I could probably take a microphone on a you know clip to the desk and on a mic stand and bring it to like here. I mean, after all, I've seen I watch Out of the Archive, one of my favorite YouTube channels, and his microphone's over here. It's either standing up. The original one was standing up. The other one was like here, but it's to the side of him. But it picks him up perfectly fine. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless he ever showed us some follies when or outtakes of his show, I imagine, I truly imagine that it sounds great. I just hate the fact I keep going to Best Buy and buying more stuff that I really don't need, and then maybe having to return other things. And if I can return, say, this microphone that I have here, if the one it's down, I believe it's the one down here in the box. I haven't opened it yet. I have not unboxed it. And maybe that's something I should just do while I'm on this channel because I ain't got nothing else to do. I have to walk away for a few minutes. 'Cause I got to get a knife to cut the tape off. But maybe that'll work, and then everything I say, I don't need 12,000 takes because certain word. I mean, I want to say certain words, but then they're not coming in properly at the beginning. Sometimes they don't even come in properly you know, when I'm on a roll with a take, and I need to get that fixed because it's starting to drive me crazy. I also want to maybe shift the screen in such a way because what I would love to do. is like right now, because this is not the way I wanted to go. You see this desk right here. I hardly use this desk except for junk. And I bought a 2x2 Calyx unit from IKEA that I'd like to put there. And what I would really like to do is like set up all the Sesame Street stuff of mine on it, and then be able to shoot the channel with that to the side. Or if the way I was just doing this doesn't work, what I could do is just take the desk, take the shelving unit, and move it over by the door, and that way I can have a side by side, because there are going to be some changes to this channel. I've already did a new AI creation of a new cover. I'm going to use a new channel or a new music arrangement. Um, and then I want to like not use the green screen background, but and I'm drinking Mountain Dew because I took a nap beforehand because I am an old person. Hey, all of us that like all of us that like these Sesame Street skits. Plus, I gotta remember how to do these voiceovers, because sometimes they seem loud and then I'm trying to talk over them. And what you were seeing when I'm watching them is, it's unscripted. But a couple of times I felt that I needed to uh rewatch and redo the watching of it. One thing I really would like to do, and I'm probably going to do this probably Christmas week, is I would like to do a watch along of Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. Why not? And talk about that. That was always something I looked forward to, except unfortunately, until I was an adult, I'd never seen it. I had never seen it from beginning to end. The closest I came to watching it from beginning to end is I having to turn it on when they're in the subway. And then it was not too long after that that some of the story arcs come to life, like Bert and Ernie deciding what to get each other for Christmas. And little did some of us know about Gift of the Magi, which is the take on Bert and Ernie getting each other Christmas gifts because they sacrifice like their most prized possession to get something for the other's prized possession. You know, I'm gonna get this big soap dish so Rubber Ducky can sit in it. Although and I'll probably talk about this when I actually watch it. Why are they worried about the Rubber Ducky falling in the tub and sinking? Why can't Bert just play with Rubber Ducky for fun? I'm sure Ernie wouldn't. It wouldn't bother Ernie, but whatever. And then, of course, oh, this is Bert's 1957 Acme. So I gotta get him a cigar box to keep the paper clips in, so we'll never lose them again. Bing. I'll talk about most of that at that time. So at this moment, I'm gonna get up for a minute, and I'm going to go get a knife so I can unbox this, and I'm gonna talk about a few more things. Some of my stuff might actually be unrelated to the channel that I talk about, but I'll be right back. It'll be just a second. All right. All right. There's a Movo Photo shipping department in Los Angeles. Huh. You know a lot. A lot of businesses you can order from them, and they'll still ship it directly from the vendor. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah. Why am I cutting it this way? Next one, I'm going to cut the bottom of it. By the. And of course, any kids who do these kind of things, get your let your parents unbox it. I love how that became a word in the world of social media and YouTube scripting. Unboxing. We used to say Get it out of the box. Not unboxing anything. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, here she is. All right. All right. So this is what I bought. I got to see what this is going to do. Let me take a look at this for a minute here. Mhm. The question is, as I look at this, I ask, what's this supposed to be for? Like, plug straight into a TV set or something? Hmm. But then again, I mean, I'm going to look into this because I really would like to keep it because, like I said, it's becoming a pain. I don't want this channel to be amateurish all of its life. My intent is actually to make money doing this. I want to get to that part in a minute because I think some things are kind of funny. All right. So now that you see what I have, um, one of the things that's kind of funny is, and a lot of content creators go through with this. It's not so much the monetization. I mean, if you're not being monetized, it kind of doesn't matter yet. But if you're eventually going to be monetized, you know, I'm watching copyrighted material. And what's not understood, especially when I got the one complaint from someone, which is so stupid, I said it right there. I say it right there in the description of every channel, as I mentioned. All the videos I watch are copyright of Sesame Workshop or the Children's Television Workshop. But Children's Television Workshop became Sesame Workshop when it just straight up became a Sesame Street, you know, thing. Because the only other show I know that ever came out of the Children's Television Workshop was The Electric Company, which I watched too. As I've mentioned many a time, a lot of us had the trifecta: Sesame Street, Electric Company, Mister Rogers. I don't believe Mister Rogers was ever a children's television workshop creation, but he did have his little crossovers. Mister Rogers actually appeared on Sesame Street, which surprised the heck out of me. Hello to whoever just joined me, and goodbye to that person as well. This is worse than my first live stream I did on. You don't expect all 100 people, all of your people, to watch at the same time. Even Tom Grossi's working his way towards 1 million subscribers. I think he got 30,000 at best, and even back then, that was when he had maybe three quarters of a million subscribers or something. I can't remember. But anyways, Mr. Rogers appeared on Sesame Street talking to Big Bird. I never actually saw that, so I need to actually watch that video. It's kind of neat. And Bert and Ernie, my all-time favorites, talked to Mr. Rogers. I mean, just brought him up in name, really, only. Like, the one skit where Ernie decides he's gonna turn on the electric fan and blow and put it on high and blow everything all over the place. Bert was writing a letter to Mr. Rogers, and then when Ernie played a little guessing game about, what part of my body's inside of the items I'm wearing, the earmuffs, the hat, which wasn't on his head, and what's inside his gloves, stuff like that. That's why he tricked him with the hat. And he didn't know and Bert didn't know what to guess, and he said a picture of Mr. Rogers. Sorry about that. One little thing you should know about me: I have GERD, or severe acid reflux, and my dumbass always every so often makes the mistake of buying, like, say, where I live is Whataburger restaurants here in the states. If you live anywhere, I think in the southern United States to the southwest, you know who they are. Mm. And Whataburger has the Southwest, or was it the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich, which to Whataburger is the McRib is to McDonald's. An item not everybody loves it. the words everybody and nobody are just like, a lot of people love, like, the McRib like I do, the buffalo ranch chicken strip sandwich like I do at Whataburger. There are people that love the nacho fries at Taco Bell, and that keeps coming and going. I've never really ate them, and I'm sure they're okay, but and I can't see whether or not I would become a connoisseur of them. But I eat something like that, and then go to bed later, and the next thing I know, I'm being woken, kind of self Heimliching for God's sakes. Picture that one. And then I'm like coughing and having like dry heaves and stuff, trying to make sure it's all out or something. Sometimes I have the most severe, rough, nasty throat. And then like this morning when I went out and did Uber, it was like I was coughing. I couldn't even really talk. And I start by talking to myself, of course, because I do. But anyways, where was I? What was it called? But okay, so where am I? Let me back up for a minute because sometimes I just get distracted and look what happens. So I got the new microphone, which I'm going to be plugging into here. So really, in honesty, even if I did, I believe my final like 3 or 4 episodes I'm going to be doing are going to be the current style they are in right now, and then after that, I'm going to work my way up towards making them look nicer. And that's one of the ways to do it right there is that microphone. The question I'm going to have is whether or not I can return the microphone I've got. I still got the box. But if Best Buy is even going to accept the return because it took so long. Usually you have only like a certain shelf life of a return, especially for electronics of sorts, especially a laptop. And I did pay off my laptop with my Best Buy card. Whether or not I'm ever going to really use that thing for anything social media like anymore, or live streaming or making a video is up in the air. I do enjoy bringing it with me in case of certain things like I premiered one of my episodes when I went out of town. I had a death in the family, so I flew back to my native Michigan to uh, see see the funeral and also go back and visit some people. I swear my current job allows that for anybody, even if it's not even they're not even related to you, as long as you show that you were at the funeral, you know. And so I decided to just take advantage of that because you get up to three of them, 15 days, 5 days at a time at my job. And I needed an excuse to just get away from work, and there it was. I mean, it was just a cousin, but it was a cousin I knew all for a long time, and my brother really got hurt by her loss. Although that drags into something I don't really want to talk about because he and I got into it over something I just thought was a little too much, but that's it. I won't go any further on that one. Uh, so again, where I was is that I'm going to I'm going to I'm going to try to bolt this microphone into this and eventually use that and see if it really does work better. Because I took a picture of myself for this one guy on X who talked to me, and I wasn't even that I wasn't even that nervous because a lot of these people friend you on like all the social medias like X, Instagram, Facebook again, and they're just there to like the girls that want to bother you. I'm like, girls, you would have had a better chance when I was the naive little like early 20 something kid. But enough about that. I mean, this guy went away, but I've been writing to him, and he was telling me like either I should get a microphone that like comes closer to me, like what I just showed you, or maybe just get the lapel microphone. It's possible that might be I don't know about that one, although that probably would be perfect because I just run it to where I am, and maybe I can slide backwards and such. But like literally where I sit right now, I'm just getting over there because I put a little piece of tape here so I knew where to center myself to the camera. This is about where I sit when I do the videos. And listen, the microphone's over here. But, it's technically no better with that as it is for that. And I don't want to buy too many things from Best Buy, especially since now, in an unrelated situation, I haven't told a lot of people about this. I wasn't going to. And I know some people who I know closely have subscribed to this channel so they could see this. But I basically purchased a second car. It's a long story, and my one hope is to eventually take this car to like Cars and Coffee or have it on regular car reviews. Another one of my favorite channels that I want to watch every once in a while. But it's a Scion XA, a 2006 Scion XA with about 18,000 miles on it. 18,000 actual miles. I'm buying this all but sight unseen from a used car dealership in San Antonio, Texas. So they got 2,000 of my money, and then yesterday, per the postal service using priority mail, I'm sending it wasn't blank, but I'm sending the check to cover the rest of this because I am financing it and hoping to pay it off a little quicker than it's offering. And then once they receive it and then they validate everything, and then they're going to put the damn thing on the truck and send it to me. They're going to deliver it right to my front door. Well, that's kind of hard. I'm in a condo. The front door is right there. There's like a parking lot. So I got to figure out how that's going to work. But I'm very excited and nervous about having this car. And my next plan, especially in the Best Buy world, is to buy a whole new stereo system and alarm and everything for the car. I'm gonna dress this thing up because, you know, again, I'm saving the true story about this for possibly, uh, regular car reviews, or maybe I'll talk about it on Facebook. I don't know. Hmm. But one of the other things I'm thinking of doing, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I think I was thinking about this before this channel truly came to life as it is, as you see it. And I am going to do. I'd like to start a second Ahjnot channel per se, and it's going to be more child oriented. It's going to be story time with Ahjnot. And my plan there is I'm going to read Sesame Street stories. Having it on the screen, having me in the corner or whatever reading it, and just be like a story time thing for people who don't have, that don't have anybody to want to read stories to, or maybe they just if they sneak the or if they're allowed to sneak their tablet or their cell phone or whatever with their earbuds or whatever underneath the sheets of their bed, they can watch and listen, you know? But I think it's very touching that I would wanna do something like that. Because this channel, even though I'm trying not to swear so much or anything, and trying to keep from saying too many, like, controversial things or anything where YouTube would be like No, no, no," you know? It is a little more adultish because, as mentioned, I mean, we watch it as I've said before in the old days, when we watch these YouTube channels or these videos on YouTube in the early days before like SesameStreet.com and Sesame Workshop got their own channels and made it more kid friendly with no comments or anything like that. I enjoyed these comments, although a lot of times you always wondered what some people were thinking when they wrote stuff, you know. So I wouldn't do that. And then to get back to something I was actually talking about is the monetization or like, copyright violations or whatever. As I was saying, Sesame Workshop owns all the rights to all videos that I know of. And it was rather hilarious that and actually for the Don't Give Kermit Teeth, Grover, that had full copyright violation, I guess. Like, you know, and I did fight it until they finally didn't respond and I won, and I can have this on without copyright arguments. In all honesty, I don't even really think that, another one joined and left. Blows my mind. Not even getting any comments. I think what I was gonna rationalize that any videos I have that I'm not allowed that I get demonetized because of copyright, I shouldn't be too upset with because when you really think about it, if they take the money that I would have made and gave it to Sesame Workshop, it's kind of a win-win, you know? I was always wondering, okay, so I'm gonna make money off of watching other people's videos, but people make money all the time watching videos and listening to songs and whatnot. So what's the complaint? That's where I knew somewhere down the line I figured I would do okay. The one that so that one I kind of understand, but I kept protesting. I'm like, look, if you're gonna pull this one, you might as well just pull them all, and I'll close down the channel because this is kind of stupid that you're going after one person, one thing, or two, or one video entirely. The one that was even funnier was for Millie and Molly. Some third world country media company or something like that complained about just one of the 4 videos, the 4 million Molly videos. And I immediately wrote back and said, "You don't own the rights to these. Sesame Workshop owns the rights to these." And I explained that. And within 2 hours, they released the complaint. It's just hilarious. And it's always funny. This is almost as weird as like one time after I moved to Las Vegas. Rush, one of my favorite rock bands, which is coming back around, which is blowing my mind, but not into that. I knew they were going on tour, and I knew I was going to need some money, and I was a little broke, so I needed the money to buy a ticket prior to actually trying to get it. Hmm. So I remember putting a bunch of stuff on eBay, and the whole intention was they were all going to start at about the same time. That way, you can check all my other auctions. If there's anything else you want, you can add it to your list. You can add it, you can bet on it, and if you win more than one thing, I'll pack them both together and everything, right? Well, I don't remember what I was selling, but I do remember I used to back in '07, you could still maybe accept cash. I think they were stopping the cash thing because some people were accepting cash, if the cash gets sent to you, okay, fine. But I don't mind if they people tell me, "Hey, you can't do this." Okay, I'll fix it. But I had, like, what, 8 auctions going? 8, 9? I don't remember how many exactly. And eBay pulled 1 of them, just 1, because I was not allowed to accept cash. And I said, "Uh, why did you just pull the 1? All of mine say that." And they're like, I don't remember." Like, "Oh, this is just the one I saw." And at the time, eBay used to you used to have to pay to list an item, no matter what, like a quarter, like depends on how much you wanted for it, like a quarter, 50 cents or whatever. So I'd already paid to start these auctions. Well, of course they stopped that auction and allowed me to restart it for no additional charge. But I was afraid that if I stopped all the rest of the auctions, that they were going to charge me all over again. So when I restarted that one auction, I had to put in the disclaimer, due to circumstances beyond my control, this auction will end at this time, which was going to be about probably, I think, like 7 hours before it was supposed to end. So it can be in line with the rest of my auctions because I couldn't, I wasn't going to start it and then have to wait and wait and wait when someone wants sends me the money and wants to get on with it, you know. And I didn't want to pull those auctions and have to go through all the crap to put them back and possibly pay another quarter each, pay to re-list them and not get that money back, which was money I didn't really have. So that drove me a bit crazy, and that's what I had to do. And that's what this and where I'm getting at is that that's what this felt like. It's like you're complaining about one video when they're all owned by the same conglomerate. Who are you, and what are you trying to do? So like I said, the one for "Don't Give Kermit Teeth," Grover. I'm understanding that was Sesame Workshop straight up, and I just told them, if you won't allow these, don't allow me to use any of them because you own every last thing I do, and I put that there, and I also put that there that I'm allowed to use it for what I'm doing it for in the Fair Use Act of '76. You know, I mean, I'm critiquing it. I'm having fun with it, pointing things out in it. That's all this is all about. This is about having fun. And I really do hope that a lot of you are having fun with this, okay? Anybody who watches this, later, because obviously I'm talking to myself, I'm hoping that, you're enjoying what you see and that you know, that this continues to get bigger still. I mean, people are watching the show. I mean, far as I know, I don't get paid for comments, but that helps the channel on yours end because if you like something and you know, you click on it, you'll see other things. But if you that's why they always say like, comment, share, you know? And of course, subscriptions always freaking help and people coming back, just like a lot of us come back to the Tom Grossi uh links, videos. Because I'm a Detroit Lions fan, as I was saying. My Lions had won a game here that we didn't think they were gonna win. Wow. Can't wait to see those highlights later. But, we all watched Tom Grossi, who's such a good sport with loving his Packers, but, understanding it's a game and then like other places I love, which is like Oddity Archive, that's one of my favorite channels. And I contribute to him and I have my channel as acknowledgement whenever he does a brand new episode going. I think ever since this most recent Halloween episode going forward, you're going to see my name at the top. I like he has two at the top, like a riddle, something enigma question mark. I don't remember exactly what it is. Right underneath is Ahjnot the Sesame Street commentator. Um, Another favorite channel I've mentioned before is Beaver Geography. I watch that guy all the time. Love it. He has a Saturday video. He does his little shorts. That's another thing I was thinking of doing is shorts because I've looked at a lot of these videos and I'd love to like do more than one in like either they're just too like maybe there's just two of them and they're too short to just have in one video. Sorry, especially in a regular video. I mean, you've seen it. I was gonna do two and two, or as Chuck Lorre used to go, two and two or two and two. I don't remember. Anyways, enough of that. I remember I was gonna do two separate episodes of The Million Molly Night, and then I realized they were so short. I might as well just throw them all together. I could end up doing the same thing where there's the more than just a number videos, which I'd like to do later. But those are so short, I might as well just throw them all together. There are some that like I'm sitting here trying to figure out a shortened version, or no, what am I saying? Like in order to have two videos, skits in an episode, trying to find something related. Like I want to do one called Playing House in the future, and it's going to have I believe it's Jim Henson's son and daughter, Brian, and I don't remember the daughter's name. Uh, but they were acting like a parent, and then she keeps going, "Uh oh, I see. I hear the baby crying. I got it. Okay, you're hungry. You need a new diaper." And of course he puts it face down and goes good night, and it's like daytime. They're having coffee. Good night, my butt. But as I was looking at Playing House, I found out that there was like later skits that were like after I stopped watching. There's one of Burton Bert comes in and Ernie's just standing there holding like a pan and a pot. What are you doing, Ernie? Playing house. And you know it. So I hate to spoil that part, but that's what I'm looking into, and then there's other things I wanna look into, like, there's the, livestock auctioneer. We That's probably most of us the first time we ever saw an auctioneer, and you're looking at him like, "What the fuck are you saying?" I had no idea of how auctioneers work, but that's, like, the only auctioneer one I think they ever did, so I'd probably have to just pair it with, like, another farm one. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm thinking about doing shorts where when I record these videos that I'm watching, it's recorded in such a way at first that it's like green screen behind me, but it's not really green screen. It's just me watching and kind of like where I am with this thing behind me. I might do that because there's some ones I've wanted to watch that are kind of short that I just would like to quickly comment on and let people watch over and over again. There's Like, there's hairy monsters sleeping and giving us the wrong impression what the Z is supposed to stand for when it comes to, in writing someone sleeping. The Z is supposed to be the sound of the letter Z for closed mouth snoring, but he's breathing out going Z. I'm like, no, 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 no. Even as a kid, I didn't believe that. There's like the quick B or like, letter, word that begins with the letter. And then like I had to look at the one for B bug where the lady with the bun in her hair sprays a bug. And then the bug comes back with a with a cannon, boom. And she looks all effed up, and then she looks in her mirror and goes, "Well, I look all right," you know? We hate spoiling these things. I shouldn't even be doing this, but I feel like I'm talking about, a lot or just rambling. Because, like, when I started, this, live stream, I was kinda like, "Well, what do I talk about?" And then I just kinda went into, how things have gone since I've done this and what I'm seeing out of this channel so far with 100 subscribers, and at this point, hoping for more and hoping at least doesn't dip back under 100. I have seen the occasional time that I've lost a subscriber or 2, but then I gain them back. I was always excited to get this because I really did wanna hold this, even if nobody talks to me. Maybe if I get more subscribers, maybe I'll have some, company, or maybe if I announce this at a more appropriate time or early enough that, you can sit down and watch it with me. It's crazy. But I know that's kinda some of the things I wanna do, like, going forward. And then I do plan on making another video right after this. Um, I think I'm kinda done talking. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually show you guys before I bring this to a close, me setting up to do a video. Okay? So here we go. As for speaking, kind of like I'll stop talking and then just do this. Here we go. I'm putting Crocs on because I had this thing fall on my foot. Oh, it hurts. Trust me. See what I mean? All right, there it is. Ooh. I guess that didn't take as long as I thought. I don't know why sometimes when I do this, when I'm thinking of doing this, I feel as I mean, I don't know if maybe the reason I do, why I'm kind of lazy to get at this sometimes. I'm trying to stay ahead, so just in case something happens and I can't get back. I mean, that's what happened with the family emergency. I was you know, um, luckily I was a couple of videos ahead when I explained myself, but I can't just do a video from a hotel room and have it look, as it does. I've gotten better at the editing because sometimes you'd see it and it's like and all that. One other thing I forgot to bring up to you guys, so I'm kind of glad that this didn't take long for me to set up. I mean, it doesn't take long at all. It's just up, and then I do my job, and then I put it back and slide it over. You're probably gonna notice that I have another shirt. I got another shirt. Well, I've had this shirt forever, and then you're gonna notice later that I'm gonna start buying more shirts. So it was kind of funny. From Walmart.com, I bought a loaf of bread, container of milk, and a stick of butter picture shirt. We all know that one. The little girl that goes to get 3 items from the grocery store for her mom, and rather than write them down, she just kind of repeats them to herself on her way, and then she kind of forgot one of them by the time she got there, and then snapped and she got it. I bought the shirt, and then they sent it, and then Walmart's like, "Hey, it's been delivered." And I'm like, "No, it hasn't. It wasn't in my mailbox. It wasn't one of those ones they left outside my door, like an Amazon box or something." And then I looked at the tracking. It got delivered to someone in Huntington, West Virginia. I go, "What? How did this happen?" I write to Walmart and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we can't send another one. We'll just give you a refund." I'm like, "What? Okay, fine. What am I gonna do?" So I gotta buy it from somewhere else. But I want a lot of those shirts. I do. But again, I gotta get this whole thing set up properly so that like maybe I can do it from an edge. But that's another reason. Like you'll see it, you've probably seen it when I do these videos. Like at first I'd be at the beginning I've gotten it pretty much now nailed down, although there's times I just want to keep my mess ups because I do stammer, stutter, I mispronounce something, I go, nah, click, let's start again. Um and but the script is like right on my screen. That's why sometimes you might see my eyes go down a little. And I'm trying to avoid that because I do want to keep my eyes looking right at the camera like I'm doing right now as much as possible. But I try to have the script as close so like I'm not looking down as frequently. I look as weird as I would, you know. I mean, it's one thing when like you watch a news person going, yeah, another news today. What's going on is that, it's weird that way. But then again, that's why they usually have the prompter on the screen so you can just stare at the screen and read it. I don't know. But anyways, okay, so we got about a minute left. Like I said, it's only going to be for about an hour, and then I'm going to get to work on making another video or two. So tomorrow morning, episode 21 drops. You'll see what it is. And then one more thing I was going to bring up, and I swear maybe I should just take a notes next time I do these things. Eventually, if I get enough people going, I'm gonna do a Patreon where I'm just gonna maybe ask for a buck or two to get things going for me. But either way, I'm going to really start. I'm gonna work on making a new video and trying to get also the fonts at the right size and such, so that this doesn't so it looks more consistent. Everything's going on. But I'm gonna get to work on another channel again. One drops tomorrow, and I'm gonna make sure I got more in the pipeline. But around the 25th episode is when I'm going to start to have make some changes. And I do plan to do Christmas Eve on Sesame Street very soon and watch it just straight up watching it and commenting on it and leaving it at that. All right, so we're almost done. Um, sorry I wasn't able to talk to anybody while we were doing this, but that happens every once in a while when you only have 100 subscribers. And I'd like to say good night and We'll see you watching my videos again. Ajnat, 3, 2, 1, out. All right.